You're listening to the Infatuation Podcast, a show where we get together with people to talk about Asian things we love. This is Teddy, and on today's episode, we continue our Asian true crime collaboration with a Briefcase podcast. That's me.
Welcome back, everyone. So glad you can join us for part 2. I'm going to throw out the disclaimer one more time. So we're going to talk about some crime. We're going to talk about Asian true crime. It's a little bit grisly, a little bit in detail. So please use discretion on whether you want to listen to this or your family. So we understand if this is not the episode for you, but we thank you for tuning in. All right, so we are joined back with Jennifer. Welcome back, Jennifer.
Hello. I kind of just want to throw in a fun fact because during the break, I kind of did some research on the Sada Abe case, and I just came across this quote that I thought was really interesting. So we know that she cut off his penis, and she said Ishida's was just average, so referring to his size. Size doesn't make a man in bed. Technique and his desire to please me were what I liked about Ishida. And another fun fact is, apparently, they put his testicles on display at Tokyo University's Medical School's Pathology Museum, but then they disappeared.
Oh.
So we don't know what happened to it. Just a fun fact.
Yeah, man.
I know.
Oh, jeez. Poor guy, man. Not only is he killed, but his junk is stolen from him, and then it's stolen again.
No, and everyone now knows he doesn't have a big dick.
Yeah, and I guess his size was on full blast.
You know what? But his technique was good. His technique, his effort. Yeah.
She complimented him. It was a compliment.
I guess so. And coming to us again from Singapore is our special guest. We have Teddy. Welcome back, Teddy.
Thanks, Curtis. Always happy to be here. Woo.
Man, we were just talking a little bit about Singapore. I have never been, but I would love to go to Singapore someday. Seems like it's just an amazing place.
We would love to have you here, bring you to all the best places.
Yeah.
Where you won't get killed. Yeah.
yeah. Lead me away from the dangerous spots.
Always a priority.
Yes.
No, seriously, it is definitely on my list. Maybe one of these days we can do a Singapore podcast. That'd be fun.
Love to have you on. Yes.
You said you've been to San Francisco?
Yeah, I did. So I've been a couple of times, but every time I've gone, you go see the Golden Gate Bridge, and because it's it's like such a touristy thing to do, and it's like misty, and you can't see anything.
Yeah.
But I've done all the touristy things. So when I was there, I went to see Up when it was out. So we went to stand outside the Pixar Studios. We went to Ghirardelli Square. We went to that slope that goes up and it's curving. And I was just like, I don't think I would like to live in San Francisco because stairs and hills are my greatest enemy. And my quads are like, no.
Oh, that is true. But yeah, so we'll talk about our hometowns a little bit later in this episode. But we're gonna jump right back into. Well, actually, before we get it back into the true crime, I have a crime trivia question here. All right, in ancient China, there are 3 crimes that if you commit this, you would get castrated.
Rape? Right?
No, it's not rape.
Oh my God, you wouldn't get castrated for rape? How can this be?
Yeah, no.
Women don't matter.
No, women don't. I guess. No, you're right. The first 2, So there are 3 crimes that the punishment is castration in ancient China.
Adultery, because they respect the other men, but not the women.
Exactly. Well, these are made up by men.
Wait, really?
These are made up by men.
Oh.
Made by men for men.
Yeah. No, think along those lines. So one thing that men would really, high power men would really care about would be government people.
Oh my God, tax evasion. It doesn't match, but imagine.
Did they have tax? Wait, did they have taxes in ancient China?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I don't know if you're gonna get this. All right, treason.
Oh.
I
thought treason would be like death already.
No, I think it's worse to make you live without a thing. They're kind of like. All right, then murder, and then adultery. So.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just get killed for murder? Because you killed someone.
I don't know. But what if you're a woman and you kill someone? I don't know. All right. In 1978, a grocer, so a guy in a grocery store in Paris, was sent to 2 years in jail for stabbing his wife with what? What grocery item?
A grocer?
Yes.
A carrot.
Carrot? No.
In my
Think
head,
France.
because you said France, I was like, a baguette? You can't stab someone with a baguette.
You cannot.
Close.
It won't pierce
You're
them.
close.
It will
Yes,
not
It's
you're
close to a
Teddy.
baguette. A
And
croissant?
it's very French. Very French. Not a baked good.
Not a big good.
Cheese?
Yes, a wedge of cheese.
Wait, what? It pierced?
Yeah, he stabbed his wife. Maybe she didn't die because they only got 2 years.
How could you pierce
I don't make up
someone
the
with
facts
a
here.
wedge
These
of
are just
cheese?
from the trivia contest.
You know what?
That sounds
You can
crazy.
get rid of the murder weapon by just kind of washing the cheese, and you're like, it's
Yeah.
still good, still good.
Still good. Still
Yeah,
good.
no, just eat it.
Just eat it, yeah. All right. In ancient Turkey, what could you be executed for drinking? What drink could you be executed for in ancient Turkey?
Liquor?
Not liquor.
Coffee.
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Because it was, I think it was had to do with that they were, I don't know, it's had some political reason as well as like they didn't want people hanging out in coffee shops and doing deals. But it had to be political with some other country that they didn't have, they didn't want you to buy the coffee from that country or
Oh my
something.
god, it's like how Americans don't drink tea because of the Boston Tea Party thing.
yeah. Yeah,
we do drink tea. I feel like, but we're more about
nowadays, yeah. But probably in the 1700s, they didn't drink tea. Yeah. No, it's kind of like a way to get back at them, right? It's like, we don't need your coffee. All right, now, Teddy, you probably know this one. Nancy Kissel, in 2003 in Hong Kong, what beverage was laced with sedatives? And she had her daughter handed over to her husband to knock him out before killing him. Do you know this one?
I know this one. I did this case with Michelle, and me and Michelle were like, damn, Nancy, was it warranted?
Do you remember the beverage? You guys want to guess?
I know the beverage. I do. I remember doing the social media stuff for it, and I was like, yeah, nice such a stock image for it because you don't want to get copyright infringement.
So Nancy had her daughter hand this to her husband. Say, "Here, Daddy, have this drink."
All good.
Probably the most benign drink you can think of.
Yeah.
Water.
Almost. Oh, okay. Maybe not. Maybe besides water.
You gotta hide shit in the drink. You gotta hide your drugs in.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
No, it wasn't alcohol. It was a strawberry milkshake.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's called
so
the
clever.
milkshake murder. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hide like so many things. You can be like, no, babe, it's the new protein powder. It's vegan.
so
That's why it
thick.
tastes so weird. Yeah.
God, in a shake?
Cool.
I would not.
Yeah.
I gotta
you
listen to
wouldn't
that
think,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Alright.
like Michelle was so funny. Michelle is always so funny.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is funny. I enjoy listening to her on your pod. Tell her she has fans in San Francisco.
Yes.
Are you guys old friends? Are you friends from school?
We stayed in the same dorm in college. Yeah. And so
yeah.
we always get noise complaints. So we stayed with a bunch of girls. But Michelle's the only one that was like, yeah, I feel confident I'm going to come on your podcast. And then, so we used to get these letters to be like, dear ladies of Block E, please keep the please shut the fuck up at like 12 at midnight. Dear ladies of Block E, we have received the third noise complaint in a week. Can you please keep it together? Dear girls. And then they like, it went from ladies to girls to like students to like, it's just like, you are clearly not ladies. Ladies don't cackle like that at 2 a.m. at night.
Oh man, I can hear you guys telling ghost stories or all this stuff.
Oh my god, I'm doing a Singapore ghost story episode with another podcast, BTH podcast, because he went to a different school in Singapore, and we were like, shit, Singaporean schools are all hella haunted.
Yeah. No,
Oh
it's
my
fun.
gosh.
No, yeah, you have a couple. I think I heard a ghost story with Michelle one time.
Mm-hmm.
What else have you done besides crime? Have you done anything else besides crime?
No, so we do mostly crime, but every now and then, like, so I've been thinking of new formats to do with people, cause like with my friends, I don't mind just telling them a story, but with like other podcasters or collaborators, I've been like, oh, what's a more interactive format? So I was like, oh, why don't we do scary ghost stories? Cause that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, like, is there a way that we can transfer like a murder mystery? Like we joint solve a murder mystery onto a podcast format. And I'm just like, I haven't figured it out yet. But the day I do, yes, you guys, come on. We will solve something together.
Yeah, bring us in on that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure now you know podcasters around the world, so that'd be really fun.
No, you are my first international collab. Yeah.
We are? Oh,
yeah. Woo. So far in Singapore, all I've done is drag myself to very dubious places to record.
No, see, actually, I wouldn't have done a podcast if I hadn't done Zoom. It's like we were teaching on Zoom all last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned how to do Zoom last year, and then I was like, I could do a podcast and interview people on Zoom. So it's really opened up the world. We've had guests from Australia and Hong Kong and Singapore. And so it's really fun to talk to people around the world, especially about interesting topics. So cool. All right, so let's get back into it. This is a Asian True Crime podcast episode. We are the Infatuasian podcast, but we are with a Briefcase podcast host, Teddy Teo. Thank you for joining us again, and we're going to get right back into this. So this is episode number 25 that you did.
Yeah.
I just thought this one was a funny one. You recommended this one, and I thought it was... Is funny the right word? It's kind of a goofy one. It's a little bit silly.
So it's crazy because when it happened, it was like a national thing, and everybody was like, "Watch out! He's gonna like do car bombs and shoe bombs," and like, everybody was like genuinely like low key a little bit paranoid,
a little bit on edge. And I think they did a survey of people in Singapore, and like 95% of Singaporeans knew this person's name.
Yeah, no. So we had like a massive like, hey, we have a terrorist that broke out of our high security prison. Can you like keep an eye out just in case? And it was so funny. They had these pictures where they like photoshopped him hair, no hair, beard, no beard, eye patch, glasses, long hair,
face mask, Yeah, that's cool. So he was plastered all over for a year, right? He was gone
like a whole year. Isn't that crazy to not catch there? You know how big Singapore is? The longest length of Singapore is, I think, something like 42 km. That's like a marathon. If you run from one end of the country to the other, that's it. That's a marathon.
Tiny,
It takes half an hour to drive from the furthest end to the other furthest end. You can listen to like a longer episode or like it's crazy. It's so fast.
Yeah, so that's why your podcast is so short, because the commutes are very short.
Yeah, no. So I was like, my podcast is going to be the length of my commute, which from my place to my office was like 20 minutes. Yeah,
makes sense. That makes sense. So this is episode number 25, the case of the terrorist Mas Salamat and his very elusive escape. Yeah. All right. So. It's this dude, I'll let you take it away, but it's this dude, he was Indonesian Singaporean?
Yeah, like Indonesian Singaporean. And he got himself involved with Jemaah Islamiyah, which was the terrorist branch of, I think, Al-Qaeda in Southeast Asia. So they're like really awful, really scary people. He even got sent to Afghanistan to like train with like real terrorists, which is horrifying. And he became like allegedly became the Singaporean branch leader. And so he got arrested in 2003 with materials on how to make bombs, which is kind of like, how do you hide from that? Like, oh, I just have this anarchist handbook because I have a professional interest. And I think at the time he was like maybe like a bus engineer or something. And so it's not like, oh, I'm an engineer and I have this.
I need to know this stuff.
Yeah. And so he tries to escape. He breaks his leg. He gets arrested again. And he gets sent to Singapore because we have extradition policies with a bunch of different countries. And then while in jail, like for a family visit, he goes to the bathroom and he's like, and because like human dignity is important. He's like, I'm going to take a dump. Sorry, I'm changing.
Yeah, I need to be alone.
Yeah. And so this whole time, so this is interesting, and my friend Margaret found it interesting as well. He was hoarding butter, and then we're like, it's really smart because butter is small and high calorie and effective. And then like we were like, well, where was he hiding the butter that he could carry so much butter that the guard didn't notice his butter? And then Margaret was like, in his flat.
Oh man.
Yeah, so he slung, I think if I'm not wrong, like this was a while back, he slung his pants over the bathroom stall and was like, so the guy thought he was like changing before he saw his family because like you don't want your kids to see you as like a prisoner because at the end of the day, we still have families and everything. And then he climbed out of the bathroom window, got through all the blind spots in the prison, which is like, this is a high security prison.
Yeah.
Hopped the fence. And so now there's two versions of what happened. The first one was that he went to his niece's house, his sister's house, and they helped him get across. And of course, this one is the one that he doesn't because he doesn't want to get his family in trouble. But like people think this is what happened. And then he hid as a woman and got across. So with all the photos, they forgot to have one where he is a woman.
Cross-dressing. He's small, right?
God.
He's a shorter guy, skinny.
Yeah, so I think if you hunch right, you look like a granny and you're like, darling, I'm a granny. I'm going to...
Or maybe you wear a hijab or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And in the second version, which he said he managed to get all the way to the border because it's actually just like maybe a kilometer, like half a mile or something to go across to Malaysia. And then he floated off and then he got himself in the Malaysian branch of JI and they hit him and everything. Yeah. And eventually, I think he got found out. I can't remember how. I think maybe it was like this guy who sold burgers was like, that guy looks familiar or something like that. But it was crazy because they were like, he's in Java, he's back in Afghanistan, he's somewhere. But no, he was just across the border. And the thing about JB is like, everybody goes there to get their nails done, to get their hair done, to get their lashes done, to get like medication. It's like Mexico or like Canada. You just cross the border to
just walk over.
Yeah. And like, the government was like, oh, he was in Malaysia. Whoops.
They were super embarrassed, right? They were pissed and they were embarrassed.
Yeah, which is very like, I mean, I think the Singaporean government prides itself as effective and efficient, which in general it is. But like this is very embarrassing. Yeah.
And he's still alive, right? I think he's only like 60. I mean, not that that's young, but he's still around.
I listened to this podcast and it was like, it's a serious topic matter where this guy's a real terrorist, but I don't know. He just seemed like so ridiculous. Like the whole case was just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like he escapes and then he's just flipping burgers for a year and then he gets caught. Like it's just so absurd.
He's like a middle-aged Asian man and you're like, nah, he looks like someone's dad and he is people's dad, but like he is also an international terrorist that like tried to orchestrate the deaths of many people. Yo.
So interesting case. So Mas Salamat, I don't know. I gotta tip my cap to him. He got away with it for a year. Shimmied out it. Probably maybe he had to lube himself up with the butter to get out the window. Because the window was probably pretty small.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I think he stopped eating for a bit to get like skinny enough.
A little skinnier.
Oh, wow. So he planned that. He was
it was all planned.
Man, all right, Mas, we see you. All right, so that was kind of an interesting little case. Now, this case that we're going to talk about is a two-parter. You don't normally do two-part.
Yeah, but when the case is so massive and there's so many details, you can't just like squish everything into an episode. It's a very long episode and I get tired of editing it because I got to get myself a medicine.
You need medicine, yeah. Everyone should have at least 3 medicines helping them out with their podcast. No, you're not the first person to say that. Everyone who comes on with medicine wants to have a medicine.
Somebody to handle my audio, somebody to just be there and like be supportive. Yeah. Especially like in the middle of the night when I'm recording and I'm just like, well, fuck. If anything, I'm like, there's this phrase in Chinese radio that's like, 如果你在听，他们也在听, which is like, if you're listening, they're listening too. And then I'm just like talking about horrible dead killers and I'm just like, well, I guess if they're gonna come and get me, they'll get me now. Because I'm just saying, Dalila sucks, he sucks. And then I'm just like, oh no, I did this to me.
Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in spirits? And
I don't not believe in them, but I'm not gonna actively be like, yeah, if I do a Ouija board, it's like real and everything. But I'm not going to doubt it. You know what I mean? So
you wouldn't be shocked if they are real.
yeah. So if I went into, so do you knock on doors before you hop into a hotel room, like when you're on work or vacay?
No, you knock
No,
on the door.
you gotta knock on the door. You gotta be like, hey, I'm living here for like 2 days. Don't disturb me and I won't disturb you. So you gotta do it in like all the Asian countries. So funny enough, I don't really do it when I'm traveling to like the US or Canada or like anywhere like Western because I'm just like, they won't bother me. Asian ghosts bother Asian people. White ghosts bother white people.
All right, so this case is episode 49 and 50, I believe, in your catalog. And it is a famous case in Singapore, right?
Yeah,
it's not that old. It's actually one of the more recent cases.
Everybody was just like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
POS, complete POS.
Complete.
Yeah, no, we listened to the Jennifer and I just listened to this one today, I think, and you did a great job with this. This one's really very fun. So I'm gonna recommend everyone out there to listen to this one. If you like kind of crazy cases, this is one for you. It's the infamous Anthony Le. And let's see. So 19-year-old guy meets 15-year-old girl. When you're 15 and it's a 4-year age gap, that's like 1/4 of your life. That's like a good,
for sure.
a good portion of your life.
And it's so weird. Like on hindsight, why would a 20-year-old be interested in like a middle schooler? That's a bit odd.
Yeah. So why don't you take it away here? So so Anthony Le and meets a 15-year-old Annie Leong.
In church, I think, if I'm not wrong. They were like in like the wholesomest of wholesome situation. Yeah. And then like they date for 5 years. And then if I was the mom, I'd be like, hey, you're in like college. Why stop that? Okay, but they get married and they have a daughter 2 years later, which I think back then wasn't too odd. But at the same time, I'm just like, no, stop this. He's a real douchebag. He has a bunch of affairs while Annie's pregnant, which is the biggest stereotype in the world. Can you even get a hold of yourself? And he moves his mistress in, being like, "Oh, let's rent this room so we can get more money."
How did he get his wife to sign off on that one?
No,
he was like, "Oh, well."
I think it's because he groomed her from when she was 15, right? So she's so used to agreeing with him. And I think it happens a lot with like people with massive age gap relationships, especially those that start when they're teenagers, because it becomes like, oh, you're so used to doing everything the guy says because he's so much older, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. And so at the same time, he's like hemorrhaging money because he wants to be a business owner because he can't like work for people. And none of his businesses are successful because like, and the thing is that he isn't an unusual case in Singapore. There's like a lot of guys who are like, I'm going to be a business owner because they don't like answering to people. But the thing is that if you can't work hard for somebody, what makes you think you can work hard for yourself?
Ooh, yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
And so he scams, he takes her money. She's the only one with a stable job. He has affairs. And for some reason, he gets his girlfriends to give him money as well, like 100K, 200K. It's crazy. I'm just like, if you are a successful business owner, why am I investing money with you? Surely you have like Series A, Series B on your own, bro.
Was he a good-looking guy? Have you seen pictures of him?
No, he's not.
I Google imaged him and I was shook. And Curtis and I were talking about this. We're like, oh, how could this guy possibly?
Because his wife was pretty, right?
His wife was so pretty. So like, Jen, give him a rating. Like I know rating people
1 to 10.
Yeah, 1 to 10. Rating people is shit, but he is shit.
Oh my god! But I know what a POS he is. But objectively, like if I saw him on the street, objectively, like I feel like if he really tried to dress up, like on his best day, best clothes, he could probably be a 7. But like on a normal day, like a 5 to 6, if I had to be honest. But I feel like his wife is probably like a 7 to 8 by default, and if she really dressed up, she could be like an 8 or a 9. So I feel like the only reason she even got a chance, or he even got a chance with her, is because he found her so young.
Yeah, no, I think it happens so much. like guys find like really pretty young girls and they just like do it because the girls are like so young and don't really know better.
They're impressed with the fact that he has a car.
Yeah. No, and then
job,
when you're the age, you're like, yeah, well, everybody has a job and a car. Yeah. No, but I think like teenagers today, now like I'm just like teenagers today, like I mean adults, they're like so clever. They're so smart. Like I watch their TikToks and I'm like, yeah, girl, I wish I was like you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just the craziest thing to me because it's like objectively as the viewer, we knew like what a useless person he is, but you're just shocked by how he's able to just manipulate all these people around
He
him.
must be a good talker.
Yeah.
He must be a really good talker. Yeah.
No.
Okay, so he's got one mistress living with him, and he's living with his wife and his daughter. Jen, you want to guess what year his daughter was born?
I think he was arrested in 2008.
Yeah, so what year was his daughter born? 1997.
Are you being serious right now?
Do you know anyone else who was born in 1997?
Be quiet. I do not want to be his daughter. That's gross. Yeah.
His daughter's the same age as you, Jen.
Yeah. I'm also a 97.
Oh my God.
Okay.
No way. I thought that you are like my age. So I'm 94.
Wait. Oh, my sister's 94.
Yeah, you have the dog. Woof woof.
Oh, actually, I'm year of the dog too, but I'm like 2 generations ahead.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, man. All right, so he's got the mistress living with him, and then the wife, I think, finally catches on. The wife is like,
screw you. Yeah, why am I supporting you and my daughter? Instead of taking care of 2 children, I can just take care of the one. Yeah.
The one I love, yeah.
And so she moves back in for mom, so good on her. And I think usually if you're like that, like I think even my mom would be like, yeah, just come back. It's not worth
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think Asian moms, unlike Asian dads, have a really good way of like letting you know that you fucked up without ever saying it. So it's nice because they never will say it. They just be like, well, you're back now. So clearly something went wrong.
Feel it, yeah.
And you just feel the shame. You're just like...
as they cook you dinner and as they wash your clothes
and as they cut you fruits and cute shit and they're like
but they'll also help you look after your daughter. Like I bet you her mom was more useful than Anthony Ler ever was.
Oh my God, my grandma looked after me.
See, same. So like honestly, and then she did not need him.
Exactly.
Glad.
But he was so pissed. He was like, I got to see my daughter. So Singapore is interesting because we have a very strong women's rights group. We have AWARE.
Okay.
Yeah, which also has its own controversies. There's actually a whole podcast about the shift of power in AWARE, which is crazy. And so chances are, unless you are a truly horrible mom, in terms of, I think it's similar in the US in terms of custody, it will almost always go full custody to the mom. Yeah. And because Anthony was such a shit husband, you could have even gone like the minimum visitation. It's just like, I think a month on every 2 months. And Anthony was just like, oh shit. I'm about
to... child support?
Yeah, the child support.
Okay,
and it's based on income. Yeah, but not that he could have paid it.
So useless, holy.
Totally useless.
And in line with how big of a creep he was, he starts hanging out at this McDonald's and hanging out with teenagers at the McDonald's. So his friends aren't like fellow adults. Like startup dudes, they like to be like, yeah, this is my friend. He started this app and now he has like a user base of like 2 million. And yeah, this is John. John is a computer engineer for this big MNC, but he's also starting his own app. Yeah, it's going to disrupt the system. No, so he doesn't hang out with other entrepreneurs. He hangs out with 15-year-old boys.
At McDonald's.
At McDonald's while he's walking his like little Pomeranian. Yeah. It isn't even like a fitness I'm walking my Pomeranian group because that's hella cute. It's I'm gonna walk my Pomeranian so I can hang out with these 15-year-old boys who are like my only friends.
But they think he's really cool, right? They somehow he convinces them that he's cool and they should hang out with him.
Yeah, right. And so he's like, and every time he meets them, he's like, yeah, I'm going to kill my wife. And obviously they don't take him seriously. And so he asked the older boys, he's like, hey, will you help me kill my wife? And the boys are like 17 or 18. And they're like, no, we will not.
Good for them.
And so he goes younger. He goes to like the 16-year-old and he's like, will you? Then he's like, think about it. And then he thought about it. He's like, nah, that's really dumb. I'm not gonna kill your wife for you. And so he goes to the 15-year-old, and each time he's like being like, I'll give you 100K, but the boys know that he doesn't have 100K. And so he's like, well, after I sell my apartment, I'll have 100K, because I think their flat was like 300. So he was like, oh, I'll sell it, and then 100 will go to you for killing my wife, and I'll keep the other 200. And the boy is like, okay. And then so at some point, the kid Z, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And Anthony, he takes out a katana, which is also, how did you get a katana in Singapore? Because we are like really strict on that kind of thing.
Wait, are they at McDonald's?
And no, it's at his house. Yeah, a bit weird. Hey, just got this to cut my burger in half, splitsies.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, if you don't kill Annie, I'll kill you. Which on hindsight, you think about it as an adult. If he was gonna kill the boy, why didn't he just kill Annie himself? It's an empty threat.
Yeah.
And
exactly, yeah.
And so one day he lures Annie down to like the ground floor of her apartment, and he's like, hey, I need you to help me sort out these divorce papers, because they were in the middle of a divorce. And he brings the papers, but he's like, oh no, I don't have a pen. Can you go up and grab a pen? And then he gives a signal to the boy, and the boy runs up and stabs her. And then runs away. And the thing is that because he was downstairs, he had like a rock solid alibi. And then he manages to like go up. So everybody saw somebody that was not him stabbing her. And so Z runs away. And so the whole time, everybody was like, oh, this is a great tragedy. Like initially the news was like, this is a great tragedy, random stabbing. And then they have photos of him being like the sad mourning husband, as if he didn't like set this whole thing up. And then the police question him, and they're like, oh, you are really sus, and you definitely are not acting like a, like, you know, there's no one way to act when you're in mourning and in grief, but like, there is a way where you are suspicious. Okay. Like, you know, like the murderer next door, like, why are you acting like this? And so I think they find like a piece of newspaper at the crime scene. And they also find the matching rest of the newspaper in his house. And they're like, why is this paper torn? And they like puzzle it together. And they're like, oh my God, you are the killer. Yeah. Anyway, he was super weird during the trial. He was just like very smug and very like about it. And then they find him guilty. They found him sentenced to death. And like, because he was like the orchestrator of the crime. And as for Z, he was like, it was almost like an extenuating circumstance, because he wouldn't have done it if he wasn't threatened. You know, he was already in the process of backing out. And I think he really did kind of make a life for himself while in prison. And so the sentencing wasn't for life. It was something at the president's will, or I think in the UK they have it at the Queen's. Yeah, so it was basically whenever they feel like he's ready to go out, and whenever you have somebody advocating for you. Yeah. But he really was, I think, he did kill somebody, which sucks. But I think he really felt very bad about it.
Did Singapore also have like the heavy surveillance, like back when that was happening?
Not as much, because in the 1990s, I don't remember seeing so much CCTV. But like today, like I'm walking on the street and I'm just like,
And I know that he was the one who confessed, but if he never went and confessed, do you think like the killer would have ever been caught?
Just based on the newspaper? I don't know.
Yeah. Because that one newspaper is not enough to implicate him. It's like, oh yeah, maybe I just used it to wipe something up and threw it away. Like it's a coincidence.
Yeah.
I think it was enough, at least in Singapore.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then to get him arrested, but then I think then Z spilled all the beans.
Spilled everything.
Yeah, like because he felt so guilty, and he just went and was like, okay, this is what happened.
Yeah, no.
And all those other boys.
So Singapore is interesting because you can get implicated without a body and without the murder weapon. So I covered this in Sunny Ang. Yeah, because the intent is enough, but it has to be unquestionable. So it depends on how you argue it, because we don't go by a jury system here. The judge decides everything. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, I think I think jury systems are also like there are pros and cons to each. And the thing about a jury system is that then you have firms that are trying to kind of play the jury system because you have jury experts on top of that. And then you can do the case not on facts, but inherent biases on the people that you see in front of you.
Yeah, for sure.
But then a single judge is like, you're also a bit like, oh,
that's one person that could carry a lot of bias in one direction versus splitting it up.
Sure. So Ler gets executed.
Yes, by long drop hanging. Very traditional.
So I heard that he tried to donate a kidney to his lawyer before, as like his one good act before, I guess, getting the death penalty. He was like, "Hey, you want my kidney?" I just thought that was so random and like, thanks.
No, so I was like, oh, maybe he's trying to not go to hell before.
Maybe.
So that was what I thought, but like maybe it could have been out of the goodwill of his heart. But it doesn't feel that way.
What an interesting case. So this one, is a two-parter from a Briefcase podcast. Go check it out. There's a lot more details. We're rushing through these. These are even briefer cases, but they are really just what?
I listened to this one at the gym, and I feel like it made my whole workout just zoom by because I was like, what is going on? And it just made me mad. I was like, this guy is so ridiculous.
And Teddy and Michelle and your other friends have a way of, I don't want to say these are funny cases, right? But you have a sense of humor, and
they have such a way of being angry. They have to be like the audacity of these people.
Yeah.
Get your damn hands. That was my favorite part of it. Yeah. So listen to the episode if you want to hear a little bit more detail from Teddy and Michelle on that one. All right, Teddy, guess what? I'm going to give you a North American crime case.
Oh my God. Yes, Curtis, you are the host today.
This is my version of a briefcase. This is a North American briefcase. And this is a cautionary tale for those of you out there, you tiger parents out there. What was the word that we used before? The kaisu parents?
Kaisu parents, yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, all right. So all you parents out there who are pushing your kids, so Jennifer, be careful when you are pushing your children to excellence.
I am not going to be a tiger mom. That I have given up that life. Goodbye.
All right. So we are in Canada, and this is a family that moved from Vietnam to Canada, I think probably in the 80s. Early 80s. And so this woman named Jennifer Pan was born in 1986, and their family was well off. They even, the site I saw said that her parents drove like a Mercedes and a Lexus, so they had some money. And typical Asian parents in Canada, they made Jennifer take piano lessons and ice skating. And so with Jennifer's parents, however, they were super strict on her. So no parties, no going out. They actually were the type of parents who picked her up after school. So the bell rings at 3:00 and they were there at 3:01. So pretty stifling. And so Jennifer did okay in school. She got pretty good grades. Not amazing, but she got into Ryerson University in Toronto. I don't know how hard it is to get into it, but you got early admission. But her senior year, she fails calculus. So she doesn't even graduate. She actually gets rescinded from Ryerson. She actually doesn't even graduate high school, but she fakes it. And she just forges her report cards and stuff. And she pretends that she's going to college. And so she pretends that she's taking the bus to college every day. She buys used textbooks and has them laying around the house. And she comes home and studies. And all the while, she just goes to cafes and sits there for 6 hours a day. So she just pretends like she's going to college. And then she even pretends that she graduated and got a job. So she's 24 years old now. So in 2010, she's 24 years old. And she actually pretends that she's working every day and that she has to go to work. So she's still living with her parents.
She faked it for 6 years.
Yes. So she keeps the lie alive. Yeah. She faked going to college and she faked working.
She could have actually gone to college in the 6 years that she was faking.
At this rate, she might as well have just done what she said she was going to do rather than going to a cafe every day. I just don't get it.
Or like
and she told, She told her parents that she had scholarships, so she didn't need any money or anything. So.
No, she should have. You took the money. I would have been like, she should have took the money and just done something. I don't even know.
Yeah, like
so she wasn't
technical certification, apprenticeship somewhere.
Something.
6 years.
Anything. So
that's a lot of time.
So she's working. She says she's working, and then she's one day her parents are kind of suspicious because they didn't see any ID. Like, where's your medical? Where's your employee ID? Blah blah blah. And she didn't have it, and so then her mom or one of her parents follows her out one day. After 6 years, they finally follow her, and they see her just sit in a cafe all day, and they're like, "You liar!" And same story, right? They let her live at home, but the shame that they felt. And so Jennifer couldn't take it, so she and her boyfriend, her kind of on and off boyfriend, concocted a plan to hire a hitman to get rid of her parents. And their thinking was they would get their inheritance. If they killed both of them, they would get inheritance, and they would be able to pay off these hitmen and stuff. And so on, I forget the date, but they went in. So they got some hitmen. They actually, I don't know how you find hitmen. Not at McDonald's, but they actually went and actually got real hitmen.
Web. There's like a dark web.
Is there? How do you know?
Yeah, like when the Silk Road was still up.
Yeah, it's called the Silk Road. Yeah. I read an article about it. It's wild.
There's an entire episode on the Silk Road, how it was built, how the guy it was run better than Amazon. Like the review system had integrity.
Genuine reviews, no bots or anything.
It was like literally a separate internet. Like I think to open it, like you don't go on like Google Chrome. You have to download like a separate software.
Yeah, like a separate browser.
To even access it. Yeah, it's like a completely its own thing.
How do you guys know so much about this? I don't.
Podcast.
I'm a little worried. Podcast.
I was on a news article that talked about the CIA crackdown.
No, so it was the year that it got the guy got caught because he hired somebody else to run it, and the other guy got sloppy.
Man.
So he was actually really well run. Wow.
So anyway, apparently you can find a hitman on the dark web somehow. So they find these guys. Not the smartest guys in the world, right? Because I think they were trying to get a good deal on a hitman. And so they break into the house. Well, Jennifer leaves the door open. Here's the thing. Jennifer's home at this time. So she leaves the door open. They sneak in, and they pretend to tie her up. And then they pretend to demand money from the parents to take him down to the basement, and they shoot him. But they kill the mom. So the mom is shot to death. The dad survives, so they're not really good shots or anything. And then they steal money from the house to make it look like a robbery. And then they go away. But then I think similar to Anthony Lehrer's story, when they're interviewing Jennifer, she's agitated and acting a little bit like, mad about this. Not exactly the grieving daughter that they pictured her to be. And so, and then the dad's story was totally different than Jennifer's story because he was alive. He was in the hospital. But similar story to Anthony Lehrer too. Jennifer had to plan the funeral for her mom and pretend to mourn while her dad's in the hospital. But then eventually the police were kind of like, I don't know. And they lied to her. I forget how they got her to confess, but they kind of lied and said they had some information. And it turns out that they didn't really have this information. But I guess in Canada, the police can tell lies to people and they can kind of get them to confess. So Jennifer ended up confessing, and in 2014 she went to jail for life with no parole for 25 years. So she's still in jail. Her boyfriend also is in jail, and the two guys who actually did the shooting are in jail. So a very cautionary tale out there for you Tiger parents out there. Don't put, let your kid, let them choose. Let your kids choose what they want to do. Don't get on them too hard about grades. If they want to go to city college, go to city college. Not a problem.
I think it's funny how everybody thinks the police can't lie to you. And I'm just like, no, the police can say whatever they want to say. They're going to lie to you. They're gonna tell you that, game theory, they're going to tell you that your friend already confessed. So
gave you up. Yeah.
You need to get a good deal for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better confess first, or the last person to confess gets the worst sentence.
Exactly.
I don't know. I feel like she needs to take some responsibility for this too. Like, it's not just about being a Tiger parent or not, which I'm sure her parents could have been probably more emotionally intelligent, emotionally available for her, more supportive. But I think she has to take a little bit of responsibility. Like, really faking that you're going to school for 6 years, you could like
that's more effort than actually going to school for 6 years.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like she could have just enrolled herself into like a local community college where she's not pressured to get whatever grades, because she could lie to her parents about the grades. I think that's part okay, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you should actually be
do
doing
something right?
Something.
Your life. Yeah, like clearly
I mean, she's
not very
dumb.
bright. Yeah.
Well, she got into college at first, but I mean, she didn't pass calculus, but whatever.
So it was all calculus. Let's say it was calculus fault. Okay.
Calculus. She could have been a poet.
I don't know. So this is the thing. Everybody thinks that Asians are really good at math, but like, guess what? We suck.
Some of us suck.
I suck so bad. Like, in college, I had to take like statistics for policy, and I was just like, well, fuck.
No, see, parents out there, it's fine. Let your kids do what they want. So there's a North American one for you, Teddy. Feel free to use that whenever you want.
I mean, she's Asian, so it counts because like
it's in. Actually, do you only do Asian countries?
So here's the thing. I started to become a little bit flexible about my boundaries because, like, damn. And anyway, recently I did a millionaire in Vancouver who, but he was a Chinese millionaire, and part of his story was in China. So I was like, well, that's Asia. Yeah, he had like 100 girlfriends and 5 baby mamas.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so everybody initially thought that it was like one of the girlfriends / wives, like, because he'd be like, we are spiritually married because we have children. And then so like, no, plot twist, it was his brother-in-law, because he was telling his brother-in-law, you know what? Why don't I marry my niece, because, we aren't even related by blood. And then like he like freaked out because like, why would you want to marry your niece? That's kind of fucked.
Yeah. Oh man. Have you ever had a case that you just couldn't get through? You're kind of like, I can't do this. It's too rough.
Yeah, no. So there's this case in Japan. I can't remember her name. It was like one of the most horrific cases. The case of Junko Furata. Yeah, so I think it's been covered in a bunch of other podcasts, but like I was like writing out my script for it, and I was just like, nah, I don't want to do this. This is uncomfortable, and it's giving me nightmares, because this girl was tortured for like 44 days, and at the end of it, the boys men were like just let go because they were underage. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I couldn't finish your Hello Kitty one.
That was rough.
That was super rough.
Yeah, so like when the cases are a bit more intense, sometimes like I'll write it and then I'll be like, no, I'm not recording it. I'll record it and I'll be editing it, and then I'm like, no, that's not. And then that week there will be an episode, and then I'll be like, oh, busy at work.
I better do it.
I'll like, oh no, something's not right, so I'm just not gonna.
Okay, yeah, because sometimes, if you're not in that headspace, or if it's too close to home, or something about it just rubs you.
So there's a lot of cases with kids where I'll just be like, I'll be looking into it, and I'll be like, no, let's not. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, the kids, the kids ones. Yeah, there's and the variety of cases, there's so many out there. Some of them are religious, some of them are kind of cult-like, and then there's...
I think white-collar crime is fun to make fun of, because it's like, he embezzled some cash money.
Yeah, but once you start, killing kids, or like, like you said, rape or torture, sometimes.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's end on a little bit of a lighter note, and this will help fuel my love for Singapore, my desire to go to Singapore. So I like to do this with international guests, because who knows, someday we may be able to travel a little bit more, and apparently we can travel to Singapore, no problem.
Yes, please come. I will bring you around.
Do we need a quarantine?
No, you don't. You show up, you get yourself swabbed, you go to your hotel, wait for your swab results, and then boom, you can travel around. You only need like 2-3 days to cover the whole of Singapore. So
oh my god.
Yeah, so people come to Singapore as like the starting or ending point. So I would recommend it as an ending point if you're doing a backpacking trip to Asia, because it's it's the last place, and you've spent like what, a month in like kind of like hot, grimy places, hiking and stuff. And then finally you hit Singapore and it is pristine and the showers are hot and the hotels are nice. Yes.
Man. Is it expensive or?
It's about as expensive as I would say any big city like New York or London. It's around that price range. Yeah.
Okay, so it's expensive, but it's worth it. Yeah. All right, so guide us around. So let's say we have, like, this is ridiculous, but let's say we only have one day.
Yeah. All right.
Unlimited money.
Yes. Oh my God. I didn't put in unlimited money. Now I kind of want to change the restaurants. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
You arrive
whatever you
at 6 a.m. on a red eye, but you're really fresh because you used all your miles and got like business or first class on like SQ, and then they make it into bid, and then you're like, oh, I'm so fresh.
Perfect,
yeah, you had a great flight. First thing, you have breakfast at this place called Ya Kun. It's a national chain, and it's toast and eggs and coffee, and it's like really cheap. It's like less than $10, and I ate it like a ton when I was in office before quarantine. And I got real chunky in my first because my office has snacks and everything. And then so you head to the zoo. So you're like, oh, why am I going to the zoo? There's nothing great about the zoo. But plot twist, Singapore has one of the best zoos in the world. We did the river safari. So the river safari has enclosures but not cages. So you'll never see like bars. So every time you're in an area, it's like you're in that part of the world. So there's like monkey aviaries where you go in and there's just like pygmy monkeys and they like to pull your shoelaces and things. And if you go at the right time, they let you feed them. And like, it's just really nice for the animals. Like, you don't feel bad for animals the same way you do in some zoos. I think it's modeled under San Diego Zoo, but because we had a bit more money, it was a bit nicer. Yeah. There are also pandas. Our pandas got pregnant and gave birth to a baby panda that we only need to return after like 2 years. Because all pandas are loners. They're not like when China gives you a panda, it's never your panda. It's like a loner as a show of goodwill. Yeah. So our pandas are called Kai Kai and Jia Jia, but in that same enclosure, there's also red pandas, and they're so silly. So they like to tease people visiting by hanging their tails down, and they want you to smack their tails, but then they're like, haha, sorry. And sometimes they hop down onto the ground so that they're like walking around you, but they don't let you touch them, but they'll like come up to you and like look at you. So it's so fun. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm down with zoos. I like going to zoos.
It is like beautiful. I will never not say no. And I would let you have, I treat you to lunch at the Singapore Zoo because they have all these animal themed snacks, which yeah, I think they're opening a hotel in the zoo itself, in the river safari itself in 2023-24. So it's like you'll be staying there and then you wake up to like the flamingo enclosure. That's crazy, right? Yeah.
Is this zoo like huge? How big is this zoo?
Like Singapore's not that small, but it's like pretty big. Like we are like as a country, we're very good at creating like spaces that feel like not Singapore. Yeah. All right. So after lunch at the zoo, we might go to the Art Science Museum, but only if there's something good on. Like the Star Wars exhibit was like great. There was like a mass exhibit, and right now there's an Attack on Titan exhibit. So it's like, freaking cool, right? So it there was a Pixar exhibit one. So we have really, really great stuff coming in because like people, I guess, know that Singapore has money. So they're like, well, we'll go there and make some cash. Cash grab. We'll get bubble tea from MBS because there's every single bubble tea chain there. We recently got Chicha from Taiwan, and we have like if there is a bubble tea chain that exists, it will come to Singapore because Singaporeans will buy it.
Okay.
All right. And from MBS, we're going to walk over to the Flower Dome and the Cloud Forest. And you're like, why you bring us to these boring places? But it's sick. It's literally, they took a dome, plopped it there, and then they started growing everything that does not grow in a tropical forest. And then for cloud forest, they were like, you know what? We're going to make a cloud forest so it looks like Avatar, like James Cameron's Avatar. So they were like, let's throw a waterfall because we don't have waterfalls. So we're going to make one. So it is like a top tier wedding food place as well if you have hella money, but if not, it's just beautiful. It is like just nice. Like beautiful, and you see a lot of interesting plants as well. And then after that, you have dinner at Lavo because you know, like that picture of Singapore where there's that big boat on the tree, the MBS building. So Lavo is on top. So you get like the best view. And
Yeah.
Lavo is nice, even though it's Italian food, but they have like Singapore fusion food every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you like southern food, I don't know why I'm recommending not Singaporean food. Maybe like, yeah, but if not, I'd bring you to somewhere for chili crab. Yeah, I bring you to where near where I stay, the Red Light District for some chili crab from like Melbourne or No Name Seafood. Yeah. And then I can be like, yeah, on your left, you see the lorongs that are sex lorongs. And on your right, you see the lorongs that are food lorongs. Because it's like 44 streets. And at like street 20, that's where it changes from sex to food in that district. You know how
Singapore doesn't outlaw this?
so
like I know they're really strict.
It's controlled vice. It's the same way that so that's another
like Amsterdam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Curtis, you a teacher. Yeah.
Oh man.
So control vice because if not, it becomes uncontrollable and vice will happen. So it's easier to keep it like on the surface. But yeah, so like in this particular area called Geylang, 1 to 20 is sex. 22 onwards is food. So you empty your balls and fill your belly.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the train station is right in between. So like I used to get off work. You see like old men picking up condoms from the 7-Eleven there, and you'd be like, oh
man.
Yeah. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Yeah. And then sometimes you go, and then there's a little weird like crossover where it's both sex and food. So if I want to get like really good roast duck, I have to walk through, and like I try not to wear shorts because like I'm just like, no, I'm not working here. I'm just visiting, here to grab a snack.
Just passing through.
Yeah, please don't proposition me. I don't know how I would react. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So
interesting.
So we're like my boyfriend was like, you're squeezing in a lot. And I'm like, well, we have time and money. We're gonna cab everywhere. We'll get like
yeah.
And then you're gonna hurry back to the airport. If you have time, we'll stop by Joel to see that. So it's one of in our Terminal 4. It's like they built a forest in an airport.
Yeah.
There's also a butterfly aviary in the airport. There's also really good restaurants there.
Yeah.
There's a Shake Shack in the airport.
I heard you guys have one of the most beautiful airports like in the whole world.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, no, we are a like massive port. Like I guess like a lot of places, Singapore is fun if you have money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from the airport, we'll get Birds of Paradise ice cream because as a shop, as a chain, they have like the best and weirdest flavors like strawberry basil, truffle oil. They're just like really good ice cream place, and sit and walk around and you're like, yeah, so we are in the forest, but we're also at the airport. Yes. And then I'd shove you onto a plane with a bunch of snacks like kueh lapis and like pineapple tarts and like just snacks on snacks because you have to. And those instant cook packets. So because you couldn't try everything, you can cook it yourself back home. I'm like, have a good flight back to San Fran. It's like what, 16 hours or something.
I know. Yeah, that's the only problem.
And hopefully you're on first class back on that flight too, so you can have a nice, relaxed flight and feel all fresh.
Of course, we travel big. Yeah, we travel big. Oh man, Teddy, we got to do this.
Oh my god, I forgot. So I wrote it so small that I forgot. Oh, in between the zoo and MBS, I'm gonna bring you to hell.
Yeah.
So there is So do you know Tiger Balm?
Yeah.
So the owners of Tiger Balm lived in Singapore for like ages and ages. I think they were Singaporean. So they had this giant. They had multiple plots of land. They were basically like Singaporean old money royalty.
Right.
And then on one of the plots, the grandparents' plots, they started to build all these statues of old Chinese thing. It's like a little museum theme park thing. And they have this cave, this man-made cave, where it's like the levels of Chinese hell. And it's literally called the Hell Museum. And I thought that it would be the best place to bring you there in the afternoon because one, it's hilarious if you aren't too serious about it because you're walking through and it's like, welcome to hell. And then you learn about all the deaf culture stuff. Like they literally have like you learn everything that is to learn about death. And you walk through, you're like, you like to gossip. I guess you'll be burned in hot oil and your tongue will be cut off.
Oh my
And
God.
they have this like dioramas of it, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then it has AC. So I think we'd be in the middle of the afternoon, so it's not hot.
AC and hell, that is classic.
So I arranged for all the AC things in the afternoon. Yeah.
Oh man, you're a great tour guide. Thank you for putting that together for us. Now, do you have if you don't have a lot of money, can you still have fun and sing? Like you can do street food.
Yes, food is so cheap, and there's Michelin star street food. So you just gotta get there early and like camp out, and you can have like 2 Michelin star chicken rice for under $10. Yeah. Oh my God. And you don't tip here, so that takes off a lot. Every time I go to North End, I'm just like, okay, you are Asian, so you can't look cheap. So you gotta like tip at least like 15 to 20, 15 for lunch, 20 for dinner, and you're just like, oh. So it takes a lot of the math out. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. You know, fun fact, my grandfather knew the founder of Tiger Balm.
Hey, the brothers.
Yeah, so his nickname was Tiger, but it was something like Aboon.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, Aboon.
Yeah. And so my grandfather was friends with him. And then during World War II, when Singapore was occupied a little bit by the Japanese, my grandfather helped him out with some equipment, because my grandfather was in San Francisco, helped him get some equipment that he needed to set up to keep the operations going. And so they had a little bit of a friendship. And so when I went to Hong Kong, I went to the Tiger Balm Gardens in Hong Kong, and I met his only daughter. Her name is Sally, and never married, and is the only one to the whole Tiger Balm fortune. She's the only one. Yeah, she took me out to dim sum, and I was kind of like, "Can you adopt me?" You know,
Curtis, you shoot your shot.
Yeah,
I should have.
Curtis, I was like, you could have married her and been like a big baller.
Dude, she was like 60 and I was like 20.
Yeah, you shoot your shot.
That's perfect.
Still,
yeah, that's perfect. Dude, if you married her, you would be, oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, okay. All right, you know, suck it up for 20 years.
Exactly.
And
then,
all right.
And then by the time you're your age right now, you could have been like big baller.
Be the Tiger Balm heir.
Dude.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sounds good on paper.
She has like land in Hong Kong and Singapore, like one for every country. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, she opened up the Tiger Balm Gardens for us, because that's where she lives. She lives in the Tiger Balm Gardens, and so she opened that up for us. And I was just, you know, she owns a couple newspapers. Tsingtao Daily is hers and stuff. Interesting story.
Curtis, the more you speak, the more I'm like, you missed it.
He should have shot his shot. What is wrong with him? You were 20. You would have been such a catch to her.
Yeah.
Like,
you weren't there. You weren't there. Yeah. No, maybe. I was thinking about adoption. You guys are thinking about seduction. All right. Well, Teddy, thank you so much, man. That was fun. I really enjoyed talking to you. Like, the true crime is one thing, but just talking to you and getting to know you is really fun. And I will someday go by Singapore. You're good on that deal?
I'm good on that deal. You are up. I would say stay for like 2 to 3 days. I'll take a couple of days off. We can explore.
Okay. And then now that I know that you've been to San Francisco and done all the tourist stuff, we got to take you on the secret stuff.
Oh my God, yes, please.
We'll take you to the non-hilly areas.
Oh my God.
I said it's not all hills, like for sure.
I hate stairs. Like the stairmaster is my best friend and worst enemy. So my 2 greatest enemies are stairs and the dark. Driving in the dark because of astigmatism. So I'm just like, so like let's say I go hiking at night. I'm like, my greatest enemy is stairs and the dark.
Together.
We'll take care of you though. Don't worry. And where I work is right across the street from Ghirardelli Square, so you saw us, yeah.
We might have went by. You're like, what's that tourist doing with two plastic bags of chocolate?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, but yeah, thank you so much. And audience out there, please give Teddy a listen over at A Briefcase Podcast. You can reach her at A Briefcase on Instagram or email her at abriefcasepodcast@gmail.com. for us, you know how to get a hold of us. You can just write us at infatuationpodcast@gmail.com. And let us know. Give us some recommendations on true crime podcasts that you listen to. Let us know what kind of cases were really interesting to you. We just touched the surface on a few of them, and hopefully they were interesting. If we hope they weren't too scary for you. But turn on the lights tonight as you go to sleep, or hopefully you are not alone in your house. So thank you again, Teddy, for coming along.
Thanks, Curtis.
Thank you. It's really fun talking to you. And if we can ever do anything for you, let us know. International collab.
Woo, collab.
And Jennifer, thanks for coming along too and joining us for your 5th episode.
Yeah, where's my plaque, Curtis? Where's my plaque?
You're in the five-time club. But on behalf of everyone here, we thank you all for listening, and we hope you're all happy, healthy, and safe out there. Stay tuned for more topics, and as usual, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.